What's up, guys?
Everybody get us started off. Go ahead, Dan.
Well, I guess the first question is, how are you feeling, and when are you going to be playing? Whether you're going to play in training camp or start for the season, what's going on with your health?
Feel pretty good. I think we've made a lot of progress over the last couple months. We got a plan in place, trying to check all the boxes. So, just taking it day by day. This is still, kind of like a period where we just, taking it day by day, keep getting stronger, keep getting better. There's been few core sessions, so everything is on schedule. So, but I think with the team, following whatever we have planned, I think there's not necessarily an expectation. It's more about making sure everything is right and doing everything right, and and then go from there.
I guess like the team has kind of posted pictures and videos of you in the gym over the last couple of weeks. What exactly have you been able to do? Have you been able to get in some drills, some live action, or anything like that recently?
I've done a few stuff. Just going. Like I said, taking it day by day. Obviously the goal is to play consistently, and not be in a position that you know we were last year. So whatever that brings me there, and whatever the plan is, I think the focus is on like just
being very evasive and
checking all those
very,
boxes.
very evasive. But I'm gonna let you
Yeah.
rock because you are
You
injured.
gave an interview this
I'm okay
summer
with you being
where you
injured.
talked a lot about the
I'm okay with you being injured, right? But come back sometime at some point in this season. I need to see you at some point. Let's continue.
mental side of the game and the challenges there on top of the basketball and the health stuff. So I guess just one, how are you doing personally, but also do you feel like you're in a better spot right now, mind and body, in terms of how you feel out there on the floor compared to this time last year?
Yeah, obviously, this time last year, I think, going into training camp, didn't really know what was possible and what I was going to be able to do, which I didn't end up doing, much. This time is a different story. Mentally, I feel better. I got great people around me. That's all that matters. So they keep me up. Keep staying positive, and obviously it helps that you're in a different situation than you were a year ago at this time, right before training camp. So it's a good start. And we just gotta keep going.
Joel, even even with if you're not ready now or today or whenever you're ready, has it just been better for you mentally that you have been able to make some progress and that you're not in the same spot as you were last year? And how frustrating was that part for you? And how gratifying is that for you now that you're actually making progress?
Yeah, I think everybody that knows me knows that I want to play, and I want to play, every single game. Um, I've been pretty unlucky when it comes to that. Compared to, most NBA players. That's when you get to the point where I know I missed a lot of games. Before last year, also because of injuries. But when you get to the point where I was last year, where it was so unpredictable, it sucks. It's mentally draining. But I've had so many injuries. The one thing that I've always told myself is, you can't give up. No matter what comes, you just gotta get back up and keep pushing through, and do the right thing at all times and hope for the best. So like I said, just a little bit of a different situation this year. So I'm excited to keep progressing. I feel really good, and I'm on pace to just keep finding myself and being myself.
Hey Joe, over here. When you sort of talk about the new plan or the plan this time around and sort of the boxes that you
On pace to finding himself and being himself. So basically what he's saying is he want to be that bull that dropped 70 points on Wemby's fucking head. And until he get to that point again, he's not fully healthy. He's not fully happy and satisfied with his game. I'm going to respect that. Like I said, I just want you to play in the June. I want us to get out of the second round. We ain't going to do that unless you're fully healthy. So however long it's going to take, you just do that. I don't give a damn. Let's get back to it.
need to check? Just maybe what are some things that are different about how you'll approach just the coming back process? And I guess how confident are you that you guys have found a solution or sort of a path forward that's going to work and create that consistency that you're talking about?
I think I want to be as honest as possible. I think going forward, we're just gonna listen to the body, and I'll be honest and say that it's gonna be unpredictable at times, and that's okay. And we gotta work with that.
Listen to the body and not the doctor.
Day by day.
That's what we gonna do. We gonna listen to the
and
body
and
and
go from
not
there.
the
So
doctor.
I think the only focus that I
Public
am
service
is,
announcement.
every single time, we on the right path. Keep going. And if there's something that happens in that time, it's okay. Just like focus on fixing it and keep going. So that's my mentality. I understand the situation that I'm in, and it's just taking it day by day, and just listen to the body.
You heard him say it again. Listen to the body. We ain't worried about what the doctor say. We ain't worried about what the organization say. We gonna listen to the body and not the doctor. He ain't say those specific words. That's what I'm gonna say. Listen to the body and not the doctor, man.
I'm not sure. I think the background of the story, I felt like I didn't do it to put my story out there. I felt like, from the first conversation, I felt like it was genuine. Whether it was positive and negative or negative, I felt like, for the first time, it wasn't about trying to get clicks off me. It wasn't about trying to find a quote to put it out there that's gonna, make you famous or whatever. I just felt like, I knew what would have come, what.
Basically, what he's saying to y'all is he wanted to leave some quotes out there that came out of his mouth. He don't want you people to get paid off of it. He don't want you people to put words in his mouth saying what he said or inside sources say this or that. No, he's going to be the one to tell you how he feel. How he felt. And at the end of the day, we all felt how we felt when he said it, but we can only respect his opinion on how he viewed things, the organization, the way he trusts people. You can see how the Sixers had staff in and out. You got reporters talking about his brother, his dead brother to be exact. So it's like the trust factor wasn't there, and that was the issue for him actually. So, you gotta take all of that into consideration when we looking at the whole Embiid situation and that article. I'm not mad at the article, and if there are people who are mad, fuck them.
What was coming with it. I knew it could be positive. I knew it could be negative, but I liked the in-depth reporting that was going on and the questions. So from there, That's what I like. Even talking to you guys, like, there's a few of these guys that I've known you guys for a long time, and, I appreciate the work that you guys do. And, but that's what I like about it. And there's a few of you guys that also, do the terrible job of just, trying to get famous and get the clicks and, trying to pick at, each, some of the quotes or whatever, which is okay. We all have a job to do. I don't blame, those people. But then again, there's, also a few of those guys, of you guys that try to do as good of a job as possible and, tell the whole story. Not to try to make me look good or make me look bad, but to report it, the way it is. And, I just liked it.
Report
I
it
just appreciate
as
it.
is.
That,
Don't be running off
someone
with the fakes,
kinda,
clicks, and baits and all
and
that
to
shit.
me,
You
when
just
I
like to
do
keep
this,
it real, and whether it makes
like
them look
even
good or
talking to you
bad,
guys,
just tell
I
the
don't-
full story,
I
tell
don't
the real
necessarily
story.
have to give these long answers. I could just give a one-word answer. But to me, like I always feel like I'm helping you guys. And, if you're willing to do your job correctly, then, I'm willing to work with it. And I'm going to put myself in a position to help you guys. So, that's the way I felt.
Oh, no, we're good.
We're going to ping the BXD and PXP with the L4 BMG from BCAS to align with the JPK to GDC. BXD.
Hey, Joel. The other thing in the ESPN story was talked about your relationship with Jameer Nelson and how he's kind of helped you.
I don't have a relationship with him.
None at all? No. I was just curious what he's kind of meant for you, and obviously his experience being a former player, some of the stuff he's gone through, what he's meant to you being here.
Jameer has been great, obviously, former player. He's from Philly. He's been, here for now a few years. He's done a good job of,
Whoa, Embiid. He's not from Philly, brother. He's not from Philly, brother. He's from Chester. He's from Chester. Yes, he is. He's from Chester. That is not Philadelphia. You see, a lot of people get that misconstrued, right? See, we let the suburban people say it's Philly. Okay, you feel me? But it's the county. It's a county outside of Philadelphia. You understand? So Chester is considered Delaware County. You understand me? But it's still PA, Pennsylvania. So are we just going to say Pittsburgh is Philly now? Right? We not going to say that, right? So let's get let's get that shit under wraps. Chester is not Philly. So, just for clarity, Chester is not Philly. Villanova is not Philly, even though we praise that team. That's not Philly. That's in fucking like Villanova or Bryn Mawr or some shit out there, right? That's still a county. Area. It's not Philly. It's an area outside of Philly. An area outside of Philly.
Just doing a good job. And obviously, he got promoted. Now he's going to have a big part, kind of like on the team with the players and everything. So I think, especially as a former player, it's good to,
Now, hold on. Now, you can't be a hypocrite now, Embiid. You said you like people who going to tell a story and tell a whole story. See, you're not from around here, so you don't understand the geographical sense of how this shit go, all right? That's the only reason why I had to let you know that Chester is not Philly. There's South Philly. There's no Chester in South Philly. There's West Philly. I'm from West Philly. There's definitely no Chester in West Philly. There's Southwest. Steph, is there a Chester in South? No, there's a Chester Ave in Southwest, correct? There's a Chester. Go ahead, say it loud. Let the audience hear it. There's a Chester Ave. She said that there's a Chester Ave. There's no Chester PA. Okay, just for clarity, all right. And then there's North Philly. There's no right. So then there's Northeast. And then you see what I'm saying? Do you get what I'm saying? It has nothing to. But he said Jameer Nelson is from Philly. So
He's from fucking Africa. He don't know no
That's why I'm literally making the clarity.
And we don't be clarifying.
He needs that. That's why I'm trying to keep him and hold him to his standard of what he said. He said that he needs people to say it the whole truth. So I'm just basically giving him the clarity back to him, like for what he asked for. That's all I'm doing. I'm just doing what he wanted me to do. That's it. Let's get back to this. This is not about me.
See, those guys succeed. But yeah, I think, you can relate to him. He played, he knows how it goes. He's been at this level. He's gone places. So I think, he's done a great job.
Hey, Joel, how you doing? You just mentioned wanting to have consistency with your health and your availability.
Yeah.
Have you thought about any ways that you can change the way that you play when you are on the court that can help you preserve that health and be available more consistently?
That's tough. Think about it, but then again, at times you can't get out of yourself. All I know is, ever since I started is to play hard, play both ends. There's a lot of people in the league, that play, one side, whether it's offense and defense. And, a lot of times, for me, my mentality is to do whatever it takes to win. And, for, all of my career, actually, it's been having to do both. There's some guys that are asked to do a lot offensively and, take plays off defensively, and there's some guys that are asked to, be the best defenders and, kind of like chill in the corner. And I don't blame them. I get, I've gotten to this point because of, how good I am on both ends of the floor. So if you ask me to, change the way I play, is, the only guess that I have is, either play, offense fully and take plays off defensively, which, doesn't suit me. I don't think I would ever be okay with that. So I don't know. I think we'll just wait and see. But yeah, if it's got to be that way, it's definitely gonna be an adjustment. But I don't see that happening.
Joe, you might be the only guy in the organization we haven't talked to about VJ this offseason. Obviously, the pressure that comes with being a top 3 pick like he is. How much have you
A lot. Obviously, I've talked to him a lot. And, even before, even as soon as we drafted him, I just knew I would like him. I like his background. Kind of reminds me of myself, coming from another country and,
talking about that
having a lot of
dog and
hardships,
VJ, huh?
growing up.
I liked him since we drafted him.
And he's an amazing kid.
That's what you want to hear from your franchise player. I like that kid. I liked him since we drafted him.
It's been good, having him around,
It's good
talking
having
to
him around, talking to him.
Trying to help. I feel like I'm at a stage in my career where, obviously I know the job I have to do. I still, have to be the guy, but, but I'm also at a stage where I can help a lot of, these young players that are coming in, whether it's him, Jared, or some of the young guys that we've had. I've been in that situation with Tyrese, and I'm extremely happy, and I'm so proud of all the work that he's put in to get, to this level. But he still has more to do, and he's gonna do more. So, I found myself in another situation where there's a bunch of other young guys, and it's my job, other than the job that I have, to kind of show them the way, and for them also to learn from the mistakes that I've made, and kind of giving them more, and and let them figure it out how to live their life, and keep advancing with their career. So
Joel, how important in a vacuum as this season for you guys as a team. And when you look at this roster, what do you think the ceiling is for the roster, and what do you guys have to do to actually accomplish that?
I don't know. I think I'm past the stage of focusing on ceilings. I think for me, it's taking it day by day, trying to get better every single day. Obviously, we know that for us is the biggest thing is health. That's really the biggest thing. So, focus on doing the right things every single day, and on the court, we have a pretty, I know it's the same team as last year, but we got a lot of talent on the court. So it's all about putting it together. But you can't put it together if everybody's not on the same page and it's not healthy. So the main focus is just taking it day by day, and just be with each other.
So who else did it? Kelly Oubre.
What's up, guys?
I'd like to get us started off. Go ahead, Dan.
Put it in whatever.
Hey, Kelly, how you doing? Good to see you.
You as well.
No, you're right. I ain't. No, you're right. But I just ask you this question. We talk about the mentor. It's all in the human being. We all want to compete on that support. Well,
To get that, hey, Kelly.
thank you guys. Appreciate it.
Hey, Kelly, how you doing? Good to see you.
You as well.
You mentioned at the end of last season a hand or wrist injury that you said has been bothering you since you left Charlotte, and that you were hoping to get that treated. I guess, did you get that treated? How are you feeling now? You mentioned you thought that might be contributing to lower shooting percentages. Like, do you feel like those percentages are going to go up this year?
Well, start off. I have had surgery on my left pinky and my thumb as well. Different years, different surgeries, of course, but. So I got hurt the first time during COVID, around that area, around that time, and the rehab process was very kind of non-existent because the world shut down. So I built up a lot of scar tissue in those areas, and then in my thumb as well, I have a brace. And yeah, so yes, I did attack that really hard this summer. I was able to see my old therapist. Her name's Mo. Shout out Mo. She's amazing. And get some more range of motion in my wrist, in my hand, in my fingers, get my fingers straighter. So yeah, I would say so. But just got to put the ball in the hole, and then you guys can talk about it when I do.
Hey Kelly, how was your summer?
It was good. Good to see you, man.
Thinking back to that injury, and you talked about it, is there any potential that if you go through the season and you're still not quite feeling it, is some type of non-invasive surgery potentially an option for you, or is it really just so much as putting in whatever work you can to make it the best it is?
Yeah, I've actually saw the doctor who did it, and this summer as well, just to go over everything, to let him know how I'm healing and everything, and we thought about taking the brace out of my thumb. But it's just I'm gonna take that out, gain some range, but lose something on the back end somewhere else. So it's not really worth it. And over these years, I've been able to overcompensate, and my body does a good job of adapting to less flexion and range of motion. So I've been just figuring it out, honestly. But with this range, I have to rewrite the patterns in my brain of shooting how I used to before all of these things. And I'm just a hooper, man. I'm just looking forward to going out there and making it work. The triumph will be better than the adversity for sure.
And then just one follow-up, just on the physicality, some of these earlier practices. You're a guy who obviously competitive fire. That's a key part of your game. How have you specifically enjoyed these kind of